You've just inherited a house here in Minnesota. You're probably feeling two things at once: grief and a quiet panic about everything you're suddenly supposed to handle. Take a breath because I'm going to make it simple. There are 5 things you should do right away in the first days and weeks to protect the property and protect yourself financially. And 2 of them are things almost nobody thinks about until it's too late and it costs them real money. Let's walk through exactly what to do one step at a time. I'm Arne Johansson. I'm a realtor here in the Twin Cities, and I've helped a lot of families through this exact moment, including when the house needed work, which is where my construction background comes in. Quick note though, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a CPA, so this is just general guidance, not legal or tax advice. But if you're overwhelmed and you want someone to help you figure out your next step, there's a Calendly link in the description. Book a free call, no pressure, whether you're ready to make a decision or you're just trying to get your footing. So, number one, and this is the most time sensitive, you're going to want to secure the property and specifically call the homeowner insurance company. Here's why this is urgent and why it's the mistake I see families make very often. When a house sits empty after someone passes, most standard home owners policies only keep covering the home for a limited window, often just a couple of months of vacancy. And here's the real killer. If the house is sitting vacant and something happens, like a pipe burst, a break-in, a fire, and the insurance company was never told it's unoccupied, they can deny the claim entirely. So the first call you make is to the insurance company. Tell them that the owner has passed away. Tell them the home is now vacant, and ask them how long the current coverage lasts and when you need to switch to a vacant home policy so there is never any gap. Do not skip this step just to save a phone call. An uninsured loss can wipe out a huge chunk of the home's value overnight. And while you're at it, keep the utilities on. Obviously, in Minnesota, keep the heat on and get the pipes winterized so you don't have any frozen pipes. Change the locks, grab the mail, or forward it so the mail isn't overflowing and advertising an empty house. And let a trusted neighbor, somebody that you really know and trust, keep an eye on it. So, number two, order several certified copies of the death certificate and start gathering the key documents. You're going to need the death certificates more times than you'd expect. You're going to need them for the insurance company, for the bank, for the county, for pretty much every step ahead. So order several certified copies right away, not just one. Then you're going to want to start a folder, physical or digital, and pull together the important papers. You're going to want the will if there's one, the deed to the house, any mortgage statements, the property tax records, and the homeowner's insurance policy. I know that going through a loved one's paperwork is emotionally hard, and there's no rush to do all of this in one sitting. But having these documents is in one place is going to make every single step after this dramatically easier. And it's the one thing your attorney is going to ask for probably right away. Number three, find out how the house is titled because that determines your entire path. And this is where you bring in a probate attorney. Here's the thing a lot of people don't realize: whether this house even has to go through probate depends on how it was owned on paper. If it was held in joint tenancy with right of survivorship, or if there was a transfer on death at deed, or it was in a trust, you may be able to transfer it without a full probate. But if there but if the title was in a loved one's name alone, it likely has to go through probate before anyone can transfer or sell it. I made a whole separate video on exactly how this works, what happens to a house when someone dies in Minnesota. I'll link it because it walks through all of this in detail. The action step here is simple. Don't do anything reversible with the house until you've talked to a probate attorney and you understand which path you're on. The case gets filed in the county where your loved one lived, whether it's in Hennepin or Ramsey or wherever in the Twin Cities. A short consultation now can save you months of headaches later. Number four, and this is the one that almost no one talks about, it can save you tens of thousands of dollars. So pay attention. When you inherit a house, the IRS does something in your favor called a step up in basis. In plain English, for tax purposes, the value of the house essentially resets to what it was worth on the day your loved one passed away, not what they originally paid for it decades ago. So right now, the median home price in Minneapolis is sitting right around $365,000. So say your parents bought the house decades ago for $80,000, and today it's worth about the median $365,000. Without this rule, selling it could mean a capital gains tax on the entire jump, nearly $300,000 of gain. But because of the step up, if you sell it shortly after inheriting it, your taxable gain is only the difference between the sale price and that date of death value, which is often little or nothing. Here's the action step. You need to document what the home was worth on the date of death, and you need to do it now while it's fresh. The cleanest way is a professional appraisal as of the date of death. A detailed valuation from a realtor can support it too. Get that number documented and keep it because you'll need it at tax time. And if the IRS ever asks, you want proof. And absolutely loop in a CPA. I'm not a tax advisor, but I can tell you that getting this step right is one of the most valuable things you can do. So number 5 might surprise you. Do not rush to clean it out, renovate it, or sell it. I know the instinct. The house feels like a weight, and there's a temptation to just deal with it as fast as possible or to start dumping money into fixing it up. Slow down because first, you want that date of death value documented before you start changing the house. Second, because the right move depends on the numbers, you haven't run them yet. So here's what you need to keep in mind. While you decide, the house has a meter running, the mortgage if there's one, property taxes, insurance, utilities, upkeep. The carrying costs add up every month, which is a reason not to sit forever. But the answer to should I sell it, rent it, or keep it is a real decision with real math behind it. And I've got a separate video walking through exactly that, and I'll point you to it. The move right now is to assemble your team. A probate attorney, a CPA, and a real estate agent who's actually handled inherited properties. Get those 3 people in your corner, and the overwhelming version of this becomes a series of manageable steps. So those are your 5. Secure the property and call the insurer. Get the death certificates and the documents together. Find out how it was titled and talk to a probate attorney. Lock in the date of death value and don't rush to the big decisions. Build your team first. I know it's a lot while you're also grieving, so you don't have to carry it alone. If you'd like help thinking through your specific situation, no pressure or obligation, book a free call with the Calendly link in the description, and I'll help you map out your next step. If you haven't seen it, watch my video on what happens to a house when someone dies in Minnesota next. It tells you whether you're even in probate, and it's part of my full inherited and probate properties playlist, which walks through this whole journey from start to finish. And if this helped, subscribe. I make calm, practical guides for these exact moments. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.